Well, hello, and welcome to another spooky edition of...
Oh, sorry, I fell asleep there.
the Movie
Yeah.
Man podcast.
I had a weird dream.
What?
It's just
Tell me.
this. It was a dream about this guy
Mm.
who seemed really like weathered and rough, and like deformed almost.
Was it a dream about Roger Moore?
No, there was like this awful like scratching and like, but it was almost like it wasn't his fingernails. It was like something that he'd like fashioned himself. It was awful. It was terrible. But it was just a dream.
Weird.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure nothing will come of it.
Yeah, as long as you didn't have the exact same dream.
I did.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. Hmm.
that can only be a bonding thing, I think. It just means
Yeah.
that we're synchronized now. Our dream cycles are synchronized.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
welcome to another episode of
The Movie Man podcast.
Yeah, that's right. If you're just joining us for the first time, I'm sorry about your luck. And if you're a returning listener, then I am equally as sorry. But we're excited to be here. We've got a guest with us this week, which is something that, with the exception of last week, it had been quite a while since we had. It's been a while since we've had a guest. And guests
for
are
sure.
fun. You know, it's
They are.
It's an opportunity for us to talk less. So if you're new, we review films. You guys vote on the films. And the way that you do that is by following us, subscribing to us, liking us, whatever the proper verbiage is for all of the social media links posted down below. Those are things you're going to want to check out if you plan on being a listener. If you're going to listen to this, then, have your say, right? Boss us around a little bit. Tell us what we're going to watch and what we're not going to watch, and what you want to hear us yammer on about. So do it. That's how a social media spiel is supposed to go, right? Just tell people, just follow us. Yeah, just do it. Damn it.
So the episode this week was actually a vote, and the theme was Halloween films, and the voting people...
horror. Classic horror films.
Horror, I'm sorry.
What'd you call me?
'Tis the season. the theme of the vote was horror films, classic horror films, and the voting response was pretty even. Some good response amongst the movies, but the clear winner was the 1984 film A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right, which you had not seen before.
I had never seen.
No, and I owned, or still own, so I've definitely seen it, and I was, it wasn't of all the options because it's the one that I'd seen. It's the one I was rooting for the least.
Okay.
However, it's a good film, and I would, I'm equally excited to be chatting about it as I am any other. But before we go any further, we should introduce the reason for this season. Jordan.
Hey!
Welcome back.
Have you ever been referred
Hello.
to as the reason for the season?
I've never, ever heard that. No.
No.
I've
Well,
never even heard that.
there you
I
go.
don't think.
What? Really?
Yeah, the reason for the season.
Oh yeah, people do it at Christmas. It's a big Christmas thing, right? Everyone, they're like in reference to Jesus, everyone's like, "Oh, Jesus is the reason for the season." So you are the reason for the Halloween season, sir. That's high praise.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. I'll take it.
You're
I'll take that any day.
in the same conversation as the Son of God. That's
So am I like the opposite because I'm like Halloween?
because it's Halloween. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the
Okay.
hair.
Well,
Yeah.
No knock on Jordan, but I feel like a bunch of elementary school-aged kids would argue and say candy is the reason for the season.
Yeah. Well, what do middle-aged kids
Maybe
know?
not this season though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not this
yeah.
season. No,
There's-
this face masks and I don't know.
They're
That's pretty
throwing
much it.
candy. Yeah, they're gonna be dropping candy through the tubes down little
Yes,
chutes.
that's right.
down the stairs. Yeah.
Kid in the plastic bubble. So, Jordan, you were on the show last week, and we chatted a bunch about horror films.
I chatted a bunch.
You chatted a bunch about horror films. We listened a bunch about horror films.
We took notes.
Yeah, and we are happier than a kid that is allowed to go trick or treating to have you back.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
So let's just talk. We haven't planned anything. There's no structure. There's no script. There's no.
Nope.
You know.
Well, that's what I got from talking to you guys over Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who talks to us over Facebook gets an unorganized, unprepared.
no.
Just
Like,
kind of.
well, we're recording
it.
7:30 on Thursday or Wednesday. I
Yeah,
guess
whatever day
I'm the
it
one
is.
who changed it from Tuesday.
That's okay, man.
That's my bad.
You had other. Can we congratulate you? Is that proper podcast etiquette? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Well, congratulate.
Yeah, I don't have to toot my own horn, so you can do it.
Okay, congratulations on 2 wonderfully successful years of marriage.
Oh,
Nice.
Everyone, that's
Yeah.
if I weren't super lazy, that's where a applause sound effect would be edited in.
Well,
Then I gotta like scrub through and find the spot, and it's not gonna happen. But no. So that was a completely, your wedding anniversary was a completely legitimate reason for us to change up our recording schedule a little bit. So but
Yeah.
well,
other future
can
potential.
I do my shout out though? Can I just do my one?
Yeah.
I love you, babe.
Yeah.
This is for you.
Yeah, man. I only ever shout out my mom, and I don't think she listens to the show because she's never commented on any of those shout outs. So that's I'm in counseling about that. But so anyways, Nightmare on Elm Street. A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Let's get into it. Let's have Jordan start us off with a question, and then we can kind of dip our toes into it that way.
What, dude? What question? He's married. He just had a 2. If you're hoping he's gonna pop the question,
Oh, I already popped the question.
it's a little. The question has been popped, sir.
Not that
like
question.
a balloon.
Oh, okay, yeah, like what they were afraid was going to happen to Violet Beauregard.
Oompa loompa.
Oh yeah, definitely the original. No slight against Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, both masters at their craft. But what the hell was that?
Oh,
The remake.
outrageous.
It's got laugh-worthy moments, but it's not a good film.
So 2 episodes I've been on here. There's been 2 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory references. I referenced Augustus Gloop in the first one, and now this.
That's how we roll. The show is basically built on Gene Wilder. We've never done a Gene Wilder film. What the hell's the matter with us?
Oh, I guess you got to do Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
We gotta.
We'll see.
Okay, Jordan, do
We'll
you have some questions to stump us with?
Well, okay. I guess I got 1. I guess I can do 2.
Okay.
So here I'll do.
We're
not.
You call the shots. If you don't feel obligated to do 2, if you feel you got a strong one, you just you decide.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go with 2. Why not do 2?
Sure.
Who knows? I may never be back on a podcast ever again, so I might as well do 2.
He'll be lying in his deathbed, and they'll be like, "Do you have any regrets?"
I didn't ask the second question.
The year was 2020.
All right. So okay. So Wes Craven, he was before becoming a filmmaker, he was like a teacher. I believe at a high school.
Ooh.
So
Oh, wow.
So anyway, so Elm Street was the street that that school that he last taught at before he left.
Oh, okay.
That was the name of the street that the school was on. But there was another There's another famous street, Elm Street, and it's famous for a very big reason. Do you know why?
Oh.
Do you know what that other very, very big reason is?
Elm Street. Do you have any ideas, Pete?
No, nothing's popping out.
The only other Elm Street reference in my life is I was working at a building retail store, like a home improvement store, and my job there was to go into people's homes and measure different various projects for them and quote them a price for us to come either install or do some renovations or something like that. And I had to drive to a neighboring town one day to do a measure, and everything about it seemed weird and wrong and just like not a job that, sometimes it's like, money is money, but there's some jobs that you just don't want to land. And this particular one was on an Elm Street, and I was like, yeah, screw that. I was like, no, it's not happening. All signs are pointing at no. But no, I honestly, when it comes to Elm Street, I have no historical. I assume it's an American street. So I have no clue.
You have none of you, so Pete, you're done.
Yeah, nothing is coming to mind. The only thing that is coming to my mind is I'm just picturing how disturbing this project or job Brady said no to must have been, because that sounds like it was traumatic.
I asked her, I was like, is there anything I should know about the house? She said, no, just don't fall asleep. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means.
No one can hear the screams from my basement.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, she's like, I was there to measure a window on the second floor. She's like, so if you'd like to come down to the basement. I'm like,
leave your cell phone in this basket. Don't bring it with you.
Yeah, aren't I here to measure something on that? Yes, well, I just want to show you something first.
There's a big
I've made you some tea.
She unravels a bladed glove.
Yes,
from the furnace in the basement.
Yeah. She's like, I've got a glove in the basement in the furnace. I just need you to take. I don't know why her accent keeps. She's like European. But no, I've got no clue, Jordan. What's the answer?
Yeah. So do you guys want to know the answer?
I kind of do. No, at this point, now screw it. I don't care.
So I can tell you the answer is a little bit more traumatic, I'm sure, than that. It was the street that JFK was assassinated on.
Oh, weird. Okay. Yeah, I never would have.
That's that's a little quick one.
So was that like jointly part of the inspiration for this?
I don't know. I'm sure it could just be a weird coincidence.
Okay.
It could just be that's the street that the school was on, but
sure.
I think it's I think probably it probably helped him make his decision.
Sure.
Like I'm sure when he was making, he's like, I'm not going to name it the street the school was on, but maybe that helped influence it a little bit more.
What should we call it? Okay, sure. Wall Street, too iconic. Sesame Street, Taken. Damn.
And it kind of sounds a little ominous, doesn't Elm Street? It kind of sells a little.
Elm. Yeah. Dutch elm disease is sure ominous.
That's.
What is that?
I'm sure. Yeah, what is Dutch elm disease?
That's like one of those tree diseases that's like transported by a bug and it killed like
like the emerald ash borer thing.
Yeah, I
think one of the reasons you have to overpay for firewood when you go to a campground versus bringing your own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Do you have another trivia question for us?
And then, so we were talking about the off air. I guess we were talking about the cool Johnny Depp death scene.
Yeah.
The amount of blood, right? Do you know how much blood?
Yeah.
Can you take a guess at how much blood was used?
Like fake blood in the scene?
Yeah.
Or genuine pig's blood?
I actually don't know what they used. But it kind of looks like chocolate milk, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It's kind of brown.
The
on
dairy,
my TV.
the Dairy Farmers Association was pleased. They used a lot of milk for that scene.
How much? God, a lot. But I feel like that's not the answer you're going for. Are we talking like
this is more like you could just take a stab.
like what unit of measurement are we looking for?
Well, okay, we can go in gallons. I can take
Gallons?
a quick. Yeah, I can convert it over.
Well,
liters.
no. What, like, you've got it in what? Like, what is the?
It is in gallons.
Gallons.
Right
Okay.
now, yeah.
But
But I have it here in liters now. So
I would say it's gotta be 50 gallons.
Yeah, it's more than that. Yeah.
Let's
Do you know
go
how many
60
liters
gallons.
are in a gallon?
I'm wondering how like more blood was used than is in the human body. That's for sure.
4.4 liters.
4.4
liters in a gallon.
4.4 liters in a gallon. Okay. 80 gallons.
No.
No. Pete?
Here, okay,
Yeah,
you can both get one more stab. Just take one more stab each. Yeah.
200 gallons.
Oh, you're getting up there.
Wow.
500 gallons.
500 gallons, yes.
What?
Yes, 500 gallons. 1,892 liters of fake blood.
That is
I
bullshit.
literally just threw that number on the wall and it stuck.
Yeah, I demand a recount.
Yeah, 500 gallons of blood.
Wow.
Do you see the amount of blood coming out of there?
It is.
They call
It's a
it
lot.
That
the
was a lot.
geyser. They call it the geyser scene
Man.
because it looks like
Yeah,
just
that's-
like a geyser, right?
And
Mm-hmm.
I seem to remember from health class, there isn't 500 gallons of blood in the human body.
Try
Well-
one.
I mean, I don't have my notes right in front of
Well.
me, but
You know when they're going in there when he's like the cop after they check it out and he's like the guy's been puking all day, and they go in, their blood's just dripping from the ceiling. Like it is so unbelievable.
there's something
No,
about
no. They go, where's the coroner at, homie? And he's like, yeah, he's throwing up in the bathroom. Like the guy
Yeah, yeah.
whose job is to look at deceased people and all the time. Like that's all he does is hovering over a toilet, puking incessantly.
It's such a good scene. Oh,
there's something
Oh,
about
yeah.
there's something about Johnny Depp scenes and unrealistic uses of blood, because every time I watch Sweeney Todd, I think two things. I think one, everyone that Sweeney Todd killed had orange blood, and that can't be, I mean, that's got to be some sort of vitamin deficiency. And secondly, they all also had underlying extremely high blood pressure issues, because that shit squirts. Like it is ghastly how the blood sprays from those people's necks. And I've never actually slit someone's throat. I talk a big game, but I've never actually
good.
done it.
Yeah,
That's good.
And
I would think maybe if you hit an artery or something, that blood's gonna start spraying, man.
I guess, but like clear across the
Absolutely,
think
it
it's-
definitely would.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
would think so.
Oh yeah. Oh, big time.
Well, I don't know anything then.
But not like Sweeney Todd. Like it just comes like a fenestrated like wall like across the neck. Like it's not just like one pinpoint spot that's like squirting. So I get
Okay.
what you're saying. It's exaggerated.
it's okay.
It's not like Kill Bill.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Now I want to watch Kill Bill. So Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm.
Yes.
The only thing I want to say right off the top
Yeah.
is what a geniusly terrifying premise.
Yes.
Because every other horror film mascot, villain, antagonist from this era is, you know, they're menacing and they're terrifying, but they're also in a lot of ways escapable. Right. So like
yeah.
Jason, just stop going, don't camp there. You know, Chucky, if you can, just burn the damn doll. Like it, like, you know, Leatherface, like, so the Michael Myers, right? Like put yourself in some form of protective custody, right? Buy yourself a Bradley assault vehicle, and
move out of Haddonfield
and just get the get the hell out of Dodge, because they're just men, right? But Freddy
and not only Freddy, and it's not only like they don't have there's no escape, but just like the basic human need of needing sleep. Like eventually,
and that's just it. It is that like you're in, so not only, so think about this, right? So Michael Myers has to come looking for you. Michael Myers goes and rests and has a hideout somewhere, and he recuperates, and he comes and he kicks your door in, and he jumps out from behind the couch. Like he's a dude.
Yep.
And as such, he has to play by real world rules. Right? So you have a fighting chance because he's got, he's big, strong, and menacing, but he's got no abilities that you don't have. He's just a dude. Freddy,
right?
When you fall asleep, which despite your best efforts, at some point you will, right? So there is no just getting away or finding the ultimate protection. At some point, when you fall asleep, not only are you falling directly into his lap, right? You're going to him. He doesn't have to come to you. You're showing up at his doorstep and ringing the doorbell when you fall asleep. But you're now in a world where it's his rules. It's his sandbox. It's his playground. And until you kind of master the art of lucid dreaming,
which is a skill we should all pick up,
which is something we should all be working on, just in case this shit turns out to be real. You're helpless. You are helpless, and you're kind of just stuck going along for the ride, which is, again, is genius, and I think it's genius for the same reason that I think, the whole paranormal haunting, the idea that the house that you're in is haunted, and or the demonic presence is actually attached to, it's not the house, it's your daughter, they want her soul, right? It's like, you don't know what the rules are, you don't know how to fight back, you don't know how to protect yourself, and no matter what you do, they're going to get you. They're going to find you. And I think that's what's so wonderfully terrifying about the idea of Freddy, is that he lives in your dreams. But just because he lives in your dream doesn't mean he's a figment of your imagination. Doesn't mean it's like, well, it's mind over matter and he can't hurt you. No, he's a paranormal entity that is going to murder your ass.
It's like that old wives' tale. Right?
Yeah.
Like if you die in your dreams, you die in real life.
Yeah.
And it's really playing on that, right? So it really is a threat. And I like because there are really no rules with him. Right?
No, he's essentially Loki. He's Loki, or he's like the Mask. It's like he's endowed with the powers of the Mask of Loki from the Mask movies. He can create matter. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, because they don't know the rules, which there are only two, I would say. Don't fall asleep, and then don't fear him, right? You can't fear him, because if you fear him, it makes him stronger.
Right. And the first one of those rules
gives him the ability to do whatever he wants.
Right. And the first one of those rules is a rule that you can only follow for so long. And the second one is a hell of a lot easier said than done.
Exactly. And they don't know that, right? Yeah. Like, if you don't know that, then it's like, this guy is terrifying. And if you don't know that rule, like, it's going to be pretty hard to convince yourself that this guy's not a threat if you just don't believe, right? Like,
right. But much like Pennywise, in that regard, you are a big juicy steak, and fear is the seasoning. Fear just makes you... fear, you being afraid is the equivalent to Frodo putting on the ring, right? Yeah. You become this beacon of delicious victimness. So
Can I just say, Jordan, when you referenced just like the old wives' tale, I was genuinely confused where you were going to go with that. I'm like, what old wives' tale has to do with a creepy old man with a hat and blades on his hand? But that you tie that together well. I was just genuinely confused.
in 20 years, when people ask that question, the answer someone will be confused. They'll scratch their head. And you mean Trump?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm curious, Pete. This is your first viewing. This is your first viewing, and
that's awesome.
What were your thoughts going into it, and what are your thoughts coming out?
You know what? I was genuinely intrigued. I'm like, I think we've all seen it in pop culture. So I can't think of, maybe this is the main example, but there's references made to it in like the Simpsons Halloween specials, I think. So a lot of just different elements of it in pop culture. So the concept I was familiar with. So I was just generally intrigued with how it held up. And just I gave it every opportunity. I watched it in the basement, dimmed the lights, and just different things intrigued me and enticed me. So just the fact that in the opening credits it says introducing Johnny Depp, I enjoyed. You took the words right out of my mouth. Like, you hit the nail on the head here. It's a truly horrifying premise. Like, every concept of it. It's not like the other films where you can take a step away from, hey, lock the door. Hey, leave town. Hey, insert blank. You can appease or resolve all these issues. You can't. Like, it's truly a horrifying nightmare scenario in every way. So, it was definitely. I'm glad to finally step aboard this train of the pop culture relevant films that I hadn't seen. I was glad to finally see it, and definitely some moments where I was like, "Hey, this is kind of just comical." She home alone. The main protagonist home alone's her way out of things and sets booby traps. There's times where, it was just entertaining just to see the different sequences that were, whether you thought they were dreams, then they turned out to be real, or vice versa. And just as a rule of thumb, we might hit on some of these examples later on, but something that I found very refreshing was the sequence would happen in the movie, and I'd go, okay, but in reality, this is what I would do, or in reality, this would more logically explain what's going on. And that actually happened. And I found that, just my personality, I found that so pleasant, where I'm like, okay, I can hang my head on this movie because it's not doing the opposite of what I think the characters should do, or there wasn't like a main plot hole. Like, whenever I thought, oh, here's kind of like a gap in the plot here, something would happen. I'm gonna go, oh, nope, that happened for a reason. I can live with that. So, yeah, it was definitely an interesting ride.
Cool, because you get easily. Is it fair to say that you get easily hung up on campiness? You struggle with, like, campiness is a real demerit for you.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say that's a valid point. Yep.
I think you're right. I think the film does a lot of things really well. What I want to know, and maybe Jordan has an answer to this, at the very end of the film, when Nancy's mother gets pulled through the door.
Mm-hmm.
How did they make that look so real? How is it that
Wait, you're kidding, right?
Nancy's mother's legs rubber banding through the window? How is it that doesn't look like a dummy? How did they? We're pre-CGI.
Yoga.
We all know that ended Ronnie Blakely's career, right? She broke her legs, and that was that for after that scene.
She was a paraplegic after, and which is dedication to your craft. It's dedication to your craft. There's also, if you have the Blu-ray and watch the bonus features, there's like 9 different variations on that scene. Like, they filmed that ending scene with like 9 different outcomes.
I watched those last night.
Yeah. And some of them are good.
They all sucked.
Some of them are okay. But none of them are
all the same except for
walk
like
me through,
2 seconds.
What kind of things?
I haven't. It's been like a year since I watched them.
What variants is there?
So here, I watched them last night. So there's one. It's So when she comes out of the out of the house, and they're both standing there, and she goes off to the car with all of her friends. And the real ones, like when the hood comes up and it's the Freddy colors, and they drive away. And then the variations, like she gets in there, they drive away, and then it pans out, and it's like Freddy's just driving the car, and he's just laughing. And then the mom gets pulled through the window. And then another one's like they just drive off, and the kids are just skipping, singing 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. But there's no like sound editing for them.
Oh yeah, they're not finished shots.
It just all sounds and looks brutal. Like it is.
And most of them are confusing from a continuity standpoint. Like most of them, you're like, what is this? Like, what are the implications here? What?
There was one. They were like,
mean?
This one's called the Freddy ending, and it was the exact same ending that they gave us, just without sound editing.
Just without sound.
What is that?
Okay. Where should we take this?
Can I actually just comment on the ending while we're just talking about it?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to go on here. I'm not getting the Nightmare on Elm Street tattoo when we're done recording this episode.
Well,
so I'm just going to go out and say...
Should.
Yeah, I would do it.
Should I?
Nancy.
Should I?
Just the name Nancy.
You should get Johnny Depp. You should get Johnny Depp in a crop top.
You should get a tramp stamp that just says introducing Johnny Depp.
Listen, I'm open to that. I'm especially open to the crop top Johnny Depp tattoos. So we'll talk about that later.
Does anyone here have the confidence to do that? To wear a crop top in 2020?
Well, no, not now.
No.
I don't think people wear those now.
I don't. I think. Listen, I think it's making a comeback for women. I think women are like teenage girls are getting into crop tops again.
Yes, but not men. I don't think.
Prior to watching A Nightmare on Elm Street, I don't think I realized that it was ever a thing for men.
I don't think I like crop tops. Period. Period.
Just like put it away. I don't need to see your belly button. Who did you?
Yeah, like with the crop tops.
Who said that a belly button was an attractive thing? Cover that up.
But yeah, my point is,
also,
this is not a
Johnny
film, so I'm
Depp,
not
can we
biasedly
say
saying.
Oh.
Yes.
Sorry.
No.
I cut out, I guess.
Go ahead, guy. No, there's a weird. So for people listening at home, the method that we use to bring a guest in the show is an internet-based method, and so sometimes things get a little out of sync, so you start a sentence halfway through, and someone, you don't realize someone else has already started a sentence. It just hasn't reached your ears yet. So that's what happened there. Somewhat rock, paper,
Pete,
scissors, and then go.
Finish your thought there. Yeah. No, Pete, you go.
Well, my point was, I'm not saying I'm not biased, so it's not that I'm trying to toot a horn of a film that I like. I'm just saying this quite neutrally. I actually really enjoyed the ending, and I liked it because I would have been okay with either component of it. So the ending, at first, you kind of think that, there's like this overcoming of evil, and it's by denying it your personal energy. And I was like, if that's the way this movie ends, I'm actually okay with this. But then also, there's kind of a bit of a twist there where you realize like evil wasn't vanquished, and our heroes are left in this unending peril of just nightmare and doom. And I was also just as equally okay with that. So it was just, I thought it was interesting how both were kind of dangled in front of us, and it wasn't like me being disappointed one way or the other. And there's something about it. I really was fascinated by it, and I could have been okay with either, but I was really okay with the way it ended. And I just think I wanted to comment on that, something I actually enjoyed.
Yeah. Jordan, talk our ears off about Freddy's origin and how like this is so uniquely different in the sense that it's children paying for their parents' mistakes, and just what a, like, I don't know, to me it's such a rich layer of story that you have all these douchebag parents that know what's going on and are kind of like in denial and turning a blind eye to what's happening to an extent while all of these teenagers are just dying,
dropping like flies.
Yeah, it's super interesting because in the movie too they call him a child murderer, right?
Yeah, and I think in the new,
but he's a child molester.
Yeah, which
that's
in the
what he was actually originally scripted as.
Yeah, and in the remake they return to that. In the remake, they don't flat out say it, but you get a better glimpse into Freddy Krueger's lair when he was alive. And there's some weird dark stuff happening.
Yeah,
and it honestly sounds like when he was alive, it sounds like the real horror story is the real Freddy Krueger before he died. Like that, without goes
he was
without
a bad
saying.
dude.
Ugh. Yeah, ugh.
Yeah, he's a creep, and you get that too here. Like in this one, when they just say he's a child, like he's a creep. Like he's sticking his tongue through the phone and being creepy, right?
Yeah.
So. So I guess the parents, like, they're not, for what they did, I guess I'm, like, okay with it, right? But it's them not just neglecting, it's them neglecting everything that Nancy has been saying to John Saxon, and he just won't listen to her.
Yeah, right? Like she's saying like Fred Krueger, a guy with she's like describing him, and the parents are like, no, that doesn't ring a bell. I don't know what you're talking about.
And Marge, the mom, she's like, oh, like we killed him however many years ago. He's not coming back. And he's like, no, he's back, lady. Like,
yeah, Mom,
I'm telling you right now, he's back.
How could I possibly make this up with this level of detailed accuracy? When
like, how many people do we have to have a funeral for before you accept he back?
Yeah. Oh my God. My boyfriend just turned into a blood geyser, and that's like you're still looking at me all stink-eyed. Like, after that happens, they still just neglect. They lock her up in the house, with the barred windows and stuff.
Yeah,
which
crazy.
Which are not up to fire regulation, I have to say.
No, If a fire breaks out in her doorway, Nancy's screwed, man.
Yeah.
It is hilarious that way.
What's everyone's favorite death?
Well, it's got to be that one, no?
Johnny Depp?
In the first one, like the Tina one, the first one, where she's getting dragged up and down the ceiling. And isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. And like, how terrifying would that be?
Can I go
into
that for a second?
Yeah.
So, so the way they filmed that scene, like that first one with Tina, the Tina death, they built that room, right? Because they didn't know how to get her up on the ceiling. They didn't want to put her on strings or whatever. Like they didn't know how to do it. So they built this room, just that room. It's as a singular set, and they put it on this like rotating,
like a big gimbal thing.
Yeah, and they bolted in the camera and the chair for the cameraman. They bolted everything down, and they spun the room by hand. So they had these levers on it, and they would just keep spinning the room up, like just in circles by hand, like a couple of the people on the set, and they would just capture it like with the camera moving along with the rotating set, and just capture her like flying up and down the wall and kind of rolling around and doing this whatever, right? And they would be directing her like, this is up, like they'd be pointing to her like what is up and what is down, because while she's acting she'd be forgetting what is up and what is down. So like she'd be looking at the ceiling being like, oh no, I'm trying to look down at her boyfriend, but she's looking at the ceiling getting all confused, right? It's really funny.
That's frustrating to me because my notes here say that the way they shot that scene was they utilized a Ouija board and actually brought a demonic presence in and then just sacrificed the actress. So not only A, do I feel stupid, but B, this is the last time I'm ever ever doing my research on Wikipedia. Screw that shit.
Well, that's why you don't use a Ouija board for your information.
Thank you for steering me straight. Yeah, I got that information from the beyond. Like friggin' liars on the other side, man.
But it is interesting because that scene, like if you do look, like there's nothing there. Like it looks unbelievable.
For 1984, it's incredible.
Yeah,
like when the cuts start appearing on her stomach, you're like, holy crap. Like, it's a little, like the skin itself, the prop skin is a little like uncanny valley type material. But aside from that, the scene holds up surprisingly well.
Yep, it does. I think the whole movie definitely really does.
From a filmmaking perspective, the scene is well done and well executed. And that definitely translates just from a story character perspective. Like I'm literally sitting there going like, dang, like this doesn't bode well for obviously her and probably not for the boyfriend who's stuck alone in the room.
Oh yeah, there's no way this guy's not doing friggin' hard. Like he's screwed.
Right. And again, that's where this film, I was pleased with the realism, because the first thing I thought, I'm like, this kid's going to jail. How is he not getting charged first-degree murder or at least manslaughter? And it held up, like they did arrest his ass.
Yeah. For me, one of the most disturbing moments by far is actually following that when Nancy's in class and she sees Tina in the doorway wrapped up in the clear plastic.
Yeah, I love that scene.
And you're like, holy
it's good
crap. And she and then she's like, everything about that, because she, you get this disturbing dream sequence, but then also just the uncomfortableness that you feel for Nancy when she wakes up screaming in class, like, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. She's all disoriented. She's screaming. And it just helps to weaken the mental state of Nancy, right? That she's like all of the foundations in her life, right? The respect and dignity that she's got with her peers at school is now diminishing as well. She's literally got no one that believes her, no one that she can turn to, nobody that doesn't think she's a freak. So Nancy's got a real feeling of isolation in this movie.
That too, when she's running down the hall and the hall monitor is Freddy.
Yeah.
And it's like there's nowhere you can go now. In the dream world, you can be anyone or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Can I want to back it up now for a minute too. So this was my first viewing, as we discussed, and Brady said he's seen it before, owned the Blu-ray, but wasn't his preference. Jordan, you influenced a lot of the choices, if not all the choices for the vote. Where exactly did you stand on Nightmare on Elm Street? Like, was it the one you were rooting for to win? Is it a personal favorite of the four options, or kind of just what exactly did it rank as far as, were you happy that it won? Maybe not as pleased. Where were you on that?
So this is my least favorite film of the four.
Okay.
Still after watching it this time, but I did want to watch it more than the other ones because it's the one I haven't seen nearly as much, and I haven't seen it, like, it's been the longest time since I've seen it. So I was excited to get this one. And Freddy, like I said last week, this was my first experience with horror films. So he has always had a special place in my heart. I think he's one of my favorite slasher killers, but the movies get pretty ridiculous after this one.
They get, yeah.
Okay.
They get a little confusing too. I
still love him.
Yeah. I found, look, so what's interesting about this film is, and this is partially what makes it so terrifying, is there's scenes where you don't always realize right at first. They do this several times. You don't realize right at first that she's asleep, right? At some point she's dozed off or someone's dozed off, and you don't realize it until impossible stuff starts happening, and you go, oh crap, she's asleep. In the sequel, but it always explains to you soon enough that yes, she is asleep, and then everything kind of makes sense. In some of the sequels, I remember a lot of them. Most of them I've only seen once, but I remember there was like, you just got really confused about what's happening, and because in the sequels, Freddy starts spending more time in the real world, not in the dream world, and you can't really make sense of like when they're asleep and when they're not asleep, and continuity just kind of like goes out the window entirely. So that's something that this film doesn't suffer from, that the future ones in the franchise definitely do.
This one's scary.
It is. Like, it's genuinely frightening.
The other ones are comical. Like, they're funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, the only one other than this one that I would recommend would be Dream Warriors, whatever number one that is.
Oh, that one is great. That one is really, really good.
It's still got, like, the campiness factor is upped quite a bit. But it's got some good scares. It's got, sort of some better delving into who Freddy is, and kind of advances the story as opposed to just like retconning the rules that the franchise has already established.
Well, what they can do with these films, though, which is what makes them a little bit more bearable as they go on to even watch and just have fun, is that in the dream world, like, anything is possible. So the campiness is kind of okay. Like, it kind of makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's a little bit more palatable in this world because it's a dreamscape, right?
Right. And so it's the campiness, and in some instances the unrealisticness of it is reminiscent of a dream, and therefore unsettling in and of itself.
Yes, because we've all had very strange dreams. Like, we've all had weird dreams.
Right. You can go, wow, that's not the way people act. Okay, right, but she's in a dream. So
exactly.
Anything goes.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that brings me to, remember when she's running up the stairs? They're going up the stairs and their feet are going into the stairs?
Yeah.
Yep.
In a dream when you can't run?
Yeah.
It feels like you're being held down or dragged down by like slow, like quicksand or something.
Yep. Yeah. It was very...
That's the feeling I got watching that scene. I'm like, I know exactly what that's like.
It was a little close to home. Yeah. Yeah. Jordan, do you think we'll ever see...
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. You ask your legit question because it's kind of offbeat. You go ahead.
All right. Jordan, do you think we will ever see Robert Englund return as Freddy? I know there's been a lot of talk about it. There's been whispers and rumors that there might be a project going, that maybe it'll happen, scripts get shelved. What do you think the likelihood will be of him ever actually returning?
I don't know. I'd hope that, as his career's winding down, he might really consider doing it again to spark maybe the last final years of his career or so. Like, Who knows how long he's going to be acting for, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this is the role that really made him famous, right? So I would hope so. This is the best role I've ever seen him in.
He deserves one last go in the saddle.
I think so. This is an incredible character.
Oh, it is. It is. Again, I think it's the horror mascot that I like the most. Just like from, even if it's just from an aesthetic standpoint. He's got a great look.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Pete?
I'm just curious because I'm just trying to gauge whether I'd ever eventually continue on in the series or not, and I just want to know.
Do it.
Do at any point does Glenn, Johnny Depp's character, return, or Donald, John Saxon's character ever return? Do either of them ever show up again?
Glenn doesn't return. Johnny Depp does.
No.
What?
Johnny Depp has a cameo in the third one, fourth one. Yeah, he has a cameo as someone who's on a TV in a scene.
What?
Yeah.
Huh.
So Johnny Depp does return, but the character of Glenn, Glenn's pushing daisies.
He's done. Okay. What about the dad, the sheriff, John Saxon? Is he ever back?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. The second one?
Yeah, because Nancy is in a couple of them.
Okay.
Nancy's in 1, 2, 3. I know for fact. I haven't seen the other ones in a long time.
In those 3, are you including
No, so John
New Nightmare?
Saxon is not. John Saxon's, that's it for him.
Oh, okay. Are you including New Nightmare in the 3 that Nancy's in?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Because that's
not in 2, yeah.
I mean, because she's not, in New Nightmare, it's not actually Nancy, it's the actress, right? She's kind of playing herself.
Right.
So, Pete, the sort of the final one that had Robert in it, with the exception of Freddy versus Jason, the final one that had it in was called Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and it was it featured several of the actors from the original one playing themselves, and Wes Craven, like the director, and so it was kind of the setup was that you had these people who got real famous from this franchise and are in the process of making another one. Nancy, the actress who plays Nancy, is married. She's got this whole she's married to a guy who he's got an acting career. But then the curse of Freddy becomes real, or it turns out it is real, and so they have to deal with it in real life.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like a fourth wall, very self-aware thing. And so that was one where Freddy got a big redesign because it wouldn't make sense for Freddy to look just like he did in the movies because that was just a character. Yeah. Right, so the real Freddy's got a slightly different scarring to his face.
He looks,
and his hand, it's not a glove. It's actually like blades that protrude from, think Lady Deathstrike from X-Men 2, right?
It's probably what he would have done if he had more budget in the first one.
Yeah, but I like the glove.
But then it was like a precursor to Scream, right? It's so self-aware. It's so reminiscent of Scream. Scream is reminiscent, I guess.
It was almost like the training wheels for Scream.
Yeah, you could tell that he was writing Scream. He was probably writing Scream at the same time that that he was filming this movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know the dates. Well enough to know how well that works out, but yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah, that's a good one though.
How much do you think Glenn's TV weighed?
Yeah, I love how they're just picking them up, eh?
Right. Well, he just picks it up and to lay in bed with it on your stomach, you have to think that there's, I'm guessing this is like a 30-pound TV. It's gotta be.
I didn't see any cords. Were they cordless?
Were there battery?
It looked cordless.
I didn't see any. It looked like it. So they had batteries in them? What is that?
Yeah. And so then he's doing this all off a set of antennas. There's no cable running to it either.
Yeah, it's so weird. Well, the antennas, I guess, right?
He was just streaming. It was
just watching the news. Well, he was, because when he was laying there, it's like KRGR. So, I guess he was dreaming at that point.
Yeah, he's just dreaming. But yeah, it was a rechargeable. You just take the TV off the dock and it's charged, and then he was just streaming. Right, he was just he was casting to the
Johnny
device.
Depp invented streaming.
Yeah, he invented Google. You can't see. There's actually a Google. What is it? Google Cat? No, what is it? Chromecast. There's a Chromecast plugged in on the side. You just can't see it because of the angle of the shot. But that explains all that away completely.
So So I'm watching. I have it going on in the background right now. And
oh yeah, you
that
do.
scene's about to happen. Actually, he's just sitting there with his TV.
Oh wow,
it's so funny.
It's a great scene.
Man, okay, so the mom, Marge,
the alcoholic mom.
Nancy's mom,
The most dysfunctional parent in the world.
Okay, was she awful to you guys? Like that was so. That acting job was awful to me.
Listen, we've never made a reference to this.
This time around, I could not even do it. I was like, this is brutal.
We've never made a reference to this, but honestly, Nancy would have been better off with Carol friggin' Baskins as a mother. She would have stood a better chance. Carol would have at least believed her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like wincing at the performance.
There's a little bit of cringeworthy acting. That one, like even Nancy, there's a moment where they're at the police station, and it's right after Tina's death, and we're introduced to the concept that the cop is her dad and her parents are divorced and stuff, and her mother looks at her, and I can't remember exactly what the line is, but the mother looks at her and says, you may not think that murder is a big deal, and which is such a weird line. And then Nancy's like, how can you say I don't think it's a big deal? But it's just like, it's awful acting. It's like the worst line delivery in the entire film, potentially the entire franchise. But
the one part that got me with Nancy is when she's in the tub during the tub scene.
Iconic scene, and iconic imagery.
Yeah, but then at the end, she's screaming. And then the mom comes up and she's just in the towel and she's trying to play it. She's like, I'm fine, Mom. I was like, you were just screaming. Like, there's no way
I slipped in the tub.
Play that off. Yeah.
Well, and especially, which again is just awful dismissive parenting, because what mother goes, oh, okay, if you say so, dear.
Yeah, that's true as well.
I must have been having alcohol-induced friggin' hallucinations again. I'm sorry, my sweetheart. The thing that strikes me weird about that scene, and it sticks out to me every single time, and I made a comment about it this time. So Nancy, when her mother comes to the door, Nancy's wrapped in a towel, right? And the mother's got a house coat to put on her.
Sure.
And maybe this is, it's the 80s. I don't know what families are like. But it just seems like if I were Nancy, or any of the girls that I went to school with when I was Nancy's age, would not have, she removes the towel, and she kind of does it in a somewhat discreet way, but there's no way that Nancy's mom didn't see a lot of flesh there. And my thoughts were, this just seems weird. It seems weird that Nancy wouldn't be like, okay, Mom, go away. I want some privacy. I don't want you to see me take this towel off. I don't know why that sticks out to me so much, but I just look at that scene and I go, this is an interesting, this is a very progressive family. But yeah, I don't know, man. To me, that's a goof. I don't know. I look at that scene and I go,
well, I'm sure there's a lot of goofs in this one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, interesting. I didn't remember. So speaking of the bathtub scene, what is it? What is this film rated? Is it PG-13 or is it an R? This must
gotta be an R.
It's gotta be an R with all the blood and stuff. Yeah. Hang on. Nightmare on Elm Street. Not A Night at the Roxbury. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Another great film, by the way. But Nightmare on Elm Street rating. This thing is rated. I don't know how to find it. Someone talk while I figure this out.
Well, it says
do you have the Blu-ray in front of you?
Yeah, IMDb.
It says on IMDb it's TV-14, but there's no way.
There's no way.
It's rated R. It's rated R on the Blu-ray.
It's okay. It's got to be, because I remember some of the sequels have, like all horror films, some of the sequels have like blatant gratuitous nudity.
Oh, for sure.
And the only real nudity in this one is when she's in like that underwater sequence. But you see more in this than I seemed to remember the first time I watched it. Like, there's a lot of, do you know what I mean? Like, you full on see Nancy's nipples and stuff. And I just remember not thinking that was the case in this movie. But if it's an R, then yeah, that nudity coupled with, the language and the violence and the gore and stuff like
the
that.
500 gallons gushing out of
500
Johnny
gallons
Depp.
of blood. I think
that alone, right? Like that amount of blood alone is gonna do it for you.
Yeah.
Well, and that is a thing. I do think there's a measuring stick that they, with blood. Like I think you're allowed so much blood in a film, and 500 gallons is definitely probably exceeding that.
It's about
I would think.
500 and it's about 499 gallons more than you're allowed to.
Yeah, it's right at the tipping point. But does anyone else have anything else to say?
Well, okay, so can I just go in quick before we finish this off and just give some insight into like Wes's how he came up with this
Absolutely
concept?
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
So he, I guess, there were articles and newspaper headlines in the 1970s about the Hmong refugees from Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. And they fled to the United States due to the genocide and war going on back in their own countries. And when they came over, they were known to suffer these disturbing nightmares, and would do exactly what the kids did in this. Like they would do anything to stay awake. Like she had the coffee pots, like the brewing coffee under her nightstand. I guess like they were doing that. Like there were people like that suffered from these nightmares and stuff that would do things like that to try and keep themselves awake. And I guess this condition only afflicted usually men from the ages 19 to 57, it said. And they would consider them these like unexplained deaths. Or they would call it the Brugada syndrome, which is like this genetic disorder that disturbs the quote unquote electrical activity within our hearts, causing them to have abnormal heart rhythms and would lead to sudden cardiac arrest. So they would like fall into these deep sleeps, have these traumatic nightmares, presumably about what was going on back home. And then they would suffer these cardiac arrests, like these heart attacks in their sleep due to these nightmares. But they didn't know that for however long. So they would go in and they would just be dead, right? For no reason. So they'd be fine, fall asleep and die. And they didn't have really any explanation for it. So that's kind of, he would read these newspaper headlines and stuff. And that's kind of where he got the idea of basing it probably in the dream, like around dreaming, right? And then I guess Fred Krueger was a real person. He was Wes Craven's childhood bully, and stuff. And he based like another character in Last House on the Left off of him. The character's name was Krug. So same kind of thing. He's obviously he's based some characters off of this childhood bully.
That adds a whole that adds a really juicy layer to Freddy's character.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Yeah, and because I'm sure that it had a traumatic effect on him. Like he'd be making movies and referencing him this far into his career, right? So yeah, I'm sure it affected him in a big way. So it's kind of, I'm sure it was cathartic for him to kind of base these characters and stuff and film these movies, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so then I guess he based the colors, the red and green colors, I guess those are considered the two most clashing colors to the human eye. So it's already like he like Freddy himself is just an off-putting guy.
That's why I hate Christmas.
And then you look at those colors and they're even more off-putting. Do you actually hate Christmas?
No, I don't. Christmas is wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah. No, Christmas is fantastic.
I was going to be a little upset.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. I'm not big on Arbor Day, but that's,
Do you like A Nightmare Before Christmas?
I love that. And here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. The problem with Nightmare Before Christmas.
You've got him started, Jordan.
And my struggle with it as far as getting it, because I'd love to do an episode where we review it. I would love to just talk for hours about the complexity of the filmmaking and the storytelling and all this stuff. But the issue, we're just going to have to not do a vote. We're just going to have to do it, because the problem is, if we were to include it as an option in a Halloween vote, it would probably win.
Oh, for sure.
However, in my mind, and I like to debate this, and you know what? I debate it a little harder than maybe it needs to be debated. But in my mind, The Nightmare Before Christmas is
a Christmas
movie.
Yes.
It's not a Halloween movie. It's a Christmas movie.
Yes.
And the problem is it's never going to win a Christmas vote. It just won't, right? If we put it up against, The Grinch and A Christmas Story and, I don't know, Love Actually, there's no way that it's going to win. So it's kind of doomed to be, just lost in which is awful, because it's, how many films are as iconic just from a merchandise standpoint and like a lifestyle standpoint. People base their whole fashion sense off of Jack Skellington and Sally and all of these things. So yeah, I mean, I love that film wholeheartedly. I think it's so morally rich. I think what they achieved with camera techniques is mind-boggling, and set design and all this stuff is mind-boggling. We're just gonna have to bite the bullet and do it. We're gonna have to not leave it up to a vote, because if we leave it up to a vote in the category that I believe it belongs in, it's never gonna get made. Just like Gremlins is never gonna win a Christmas vote. So if we want to do Gremlins, we just have to bite the bullet and do Gremlins.
Yeah, that's a Christmas film too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Gizmo was a Christmas present. The whole thing takes place on Christmas.
Die Hard.
Yes, thank you, Jordan. Thank you. Bless you on the Die Hard reference.
It's a Christmas
yes.
film.
Yeah,
preach, brother, preach.
We should.
I'm preaching.
We maybe need to have a whole episode just debating that, because
hell yeah,
I'll fight that into the ground. But what were we talking about?
I think we were about to score the film.
Oh, he was talking about, I said that's why I hate Christmas, and he was like, wait.
I just wanted to cite a few things before we wrapped up, because I just do think they're important. So just real quick, I want to say one quote from Wes Craven himself. He said this about Freddy. So he says, in a sense, Freddy stands for the worst of parenthood and adulthood. The dirty old man, the nasty father, and the adult who wants children to die rather than help them prosper. He's the boogeyman and the worst fear of children. The adult that's out to get them. He's a very primal figure, sort of like Kronos devouring his children. That evil, twisted, perverted father figure that wants to destroy and is able to get them at their most vulnerable moment, which is when they're asleep.
Shit, Pete, get that tattooed. That's deep.
That's a big rib piece.
That's again that hearing that, I almost want to immediately rewatch it.
And then quick before you go into that, can I say another quote that I wrote I did not write this, that I read from a book. I've also heard it as well. Can I read that quote, and then that'll put this into perspective too?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's just a quote on theme in movies, and I always I find this very a very awesome quote. So it says, Theme is the specific truth about the human experience the writer intends to convey to the audience. It's the message, the moral, the meaning of your story, the reason for existing other than making money. Theme is therefore what makes your story universal and thus is emotionally significant. Often the difference between between a great script and a mediocre one is the depth of its theme. A script may be entertaining without a strong theme, but will never be considered great. Without theme, a story has little significance. It's superficial entertainment that leaves the viewer feeling empty.
That's awesome. Man, that's so rich.
Yeah, so if that puts the whole idea of this movie into perspective, I think this movie is very strong.
Oh yeah.
When it comes down to its themes, especially, like it's a female empowerment movie through and through.
Well, and it's a big FU to people who, who think of films like this or, Friday the 13th or whatever as just, unthoughtful, mindless nonsense.
Yep.
Right? Who don't value them as character studies or potentially rich storytelling experiences.
Yeah, and I think horror, that's what I was saying before, quick. I was just saying that in the last of, I think horror in its themes stands among every other genre because it's the one that's not afraid to look at the hard themes. It's the one that's not afraid to dabble in the hard themes that not a lot of people want to really look at. And I think horror is a way to do it. It's a cathartic way to look at those hard, real life themes. So that's my 2 cents. I'll leave it at that.
Fantastic. Cool. So the next thing we do typically is give this son of a abusive, neglectful, alcoholic mother a rating on a scale of 0 to 10. Jordan, as our guest, why don't you go last? No, go first.
Well, I mean, you renamed me Tina.
That's true.
In the chat.
That's true. We have a chat.
I'm dead.
Yep.
I'm already dead.
You're dead. You don't matter, man.
Yep.
You're a plot progressor.
Well, who was the final girl? Who's Nancy?
That's Pete. Pete's Nancy.
Same
all
moi.
Right, Pete,
Same moi.
Pete, all right, you'll go last then, right?
You're such a Nancy, Pete.
All right. Such a Nancy. One last thing. Did you guys like Heather Langenkamp? Did you like her as Nancy? Did you think she was good? I guess we dabbled into that. But...
Again, I think there's, is this her first acting credit?
I don't know.
I guess not. Otherwise, it would be introducing her as well. I think she's a little fresh as far as acting chops go.
Mm-hmm. Potentially.
And that I think Johnny Depp being his first role, introducing Johnny Depp, I think already was displaying, I think he was bringing top-notch level acting and taking this film very seriously, even as his first kind of, campy horror film.
What I liked also was that he was like this jock character in this, and then he's so not that character from the rest of his career.
Right.
Yeah. Like he took the weird roles.
Well, and
after that.
And I think it's a combination of stuff like this, stuff like what is it, Private Resort or something. He was in like a teen sex com. And then 21 Jump Street. Right? Like I think he wanted so desperately to diverge from 21 Jump Street. There's this great interview where he talks about being a young adult or a late teen and, on Santa Monica Boulevard, climbing up a billboard with his face on it, advertising 21 Jump Street and vandalizing it with spray paint because he didn't like, he'd become this like heartthrob kind of thing. And there was this big billboard of him holding a gun, and the slogan on the billboard said, "Other kids pack lunch." And he just, he's like, I knew that was bad news. I didn't want, like, that's not what I wanted. So, and so 21 Jump Street ended because he wanted out. Right? He wanted off the show because he was just, he was being typecast as this heartthrob, whatever, which is why, like, one of the very next thing he does is Edward Scissorhands, right? Is this drastically different, it took this sexy man of the year heartthrob image and covered him in scars and did his hair up all black and turned him into the outcast, turned him into, it's so polar opposite.
It was like Freddy 2.0 with his hands.
Yeah. But still, arguably, I would argue the most, Edward Scissorhands being one of his earliest pieces of work, possibly still the most powerful role, the most powerful message that he's ever conveyed in anything ever, being in Edward Scissorhands. But that's a whole nother... We did an episode on that.
All right. Sorry to derail, but I'll rate this puppy.
All right. 0 to 10, sir.
All right. I've never rated this, actually, although I think I just did last night for myself. So I think, for me, this is probably like this. I'll give this an 8. I'll give this an 8.
Wow, 8 out of 10.
I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy with an 8. I really do enjoy this movie. It's fun,
good.
man.
It's good.
Cool.
I have a good time. And hold on, in 90 minutes, like clean cut 90 minutes, this movie is rock and roll from minute 1. Like,
it's well paced. It is well paced.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Pete, why don't you give us your score, but for Jordan's sake and everybody else's sake, why don't you explain, why you have 2 scores that you give, and sort of how your rating system works, because it's a little unique to you.
It's a little unique. So the second score I use is Marshall's score, and it's just strictly rating a film just on its merit on a scale of 0 to 10.
Marshall being some dude somewhere who's listened to the show a couple of times.
Or a lot.
Yeah.
My score is still on a scale of 10, but where it lands on a 10 is how much money I would spend to see the film. So if it's kind of like in the 0 to 3.9 range, I would only see the film if I was at the cottage and there was no Wi-Fi and it was raining. I guess I might throw it in the VCR player.
And you were trying not to fall asleep so that you didn't die.
Yeah. If it's in the 4 to 5.4 range, I'd pay money to rent it. If it's in the 5.5 to 6.9, I'd spend more money and buy it on DVD. And if it's a 7 or above, I'm getting a babysitter. I'm going out. I'm spending $50 to buy tickets, to buy popcorn. I'm spending a whole evening at the movie theater to see it in theaters. So that's kind of how my rating works.
Cool. So bearing that all in mind.
Bearing that all in mind, it kind of... there was nothing in this film that I disliked. There was nothing that I laughed at, that I found comical. There was nothing in it that I thought was bad. I didn't find enough in it to give it a great rating per se. Maybe if I had rated it after we had this discussion, there is some pretty solid meat on this bone to talk about, to chew on, as far as a villain perspective, as far as the kind of implications that it's based off of. But I gave it kind of a 5.3-ish out of 10. So I'd be okay with spending money to rent it, which is exactly what I did. On Marshall's scale, it's right down the middle. It's a 5 out of 10. It's not bad. It's not amazing. It's just right down the middle. It's a decent film. So both ratings kind of just are quite similar, but somewhere around 5 out of 10.
Cool. Admirable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how about you, babe?
I respect a 5.
Yeah. For me, it's a 7.8. So it's pretty close to Jordan's. I would definitely go see this thing in the theater, even having seen it a couple of times. And you know what? I don't know so much. Like, I don't know that there's a film of the options, which was Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Halloween. Did I say that one? Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
You know, anyways, all of those. I don't know that there's one of those that I wouldn't go to the theater to see. Just because to me there's something about, like, you know, it's the golden age of horror, right? If the Bela Lugosi style, if that's the silver age, then the 80s and early 90s, that was the golden age of horror. And there's just something about, like, Freddy Krueger up on the screen with a liter and a half of Coke and a big greasy bucket of popcorn. Like, to me, that's just it. You know, to me, it just sounds like an experience, right? Or even a drive-in.
Sure.
Like, I'd go see it in a drive-in.
I got to see the new remake in theaters, and I know it's not this one, but that was exciting for me. Like, that was the first Nightmare on Elm Street film that I was ever able to see in theaters. So I was like, man, I don't care. Like, I think I love that film because of that experience. Like, it was just so exciting.
And
same with the new Halloween. Like, when the new Halloween is like, this is the first
Rob Zombie
Halloween. No, the new 2018
one. The 2018 one. Okay, yeah.
That was the first one I ever got the chance to see in theaters, and it was so exciting. Like, I get to see Mike on the big screen.
On the big screen. Yeah, for sure. There's, So anyway, 7.8, pretty damn decent film. And like I said, I think my favorite of the horror mascots. So that's probably definitely contributing to the score a little bit. So
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then the final segment we do, Jordan, what did you watch this week? Did you watch any films other than Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah. So last week I said that I just started watching the Golem. Remember I talked about there's the first, possibly the first film ever. So I finished that finally. It took me a little bit. It's 5 chapters. It's only an hour and 25 minutes, but it is, that is a slow movie, guys. Like, obviously it's like 1898, but it's got some really interesting visuals for sure. Like, the imagery is creepy. It's interesting. If you want to, like, dive deep into film and whatever, I mean, it's definitely one to watch. So that I finished that one. And then I watched Cooties with Elijah Wood and Rainn Wilson.
Ooh, I don't know if I know that one.
It's like it's like a zombie. It's like a virus-infected film, but it's like Elijah Wood, Rainn Wilson. They're teachers. Elijah Wood's a substitute teacher at a school. Rainn Wilson's like the gym teacher. Anyway, there's like a Cooties breakout amongst the kids, and it's like a very serious viral, visceral infection, and it makes them angry and aggressive just like zombies, and they just start attacking the parents and the teachers and the old people and the older folks. And
the old people.
The limb from limb. So it's actually it's really funny. Like, it is hilarious. But it's interesting because it's like it's the kids' take, right? So you get to see a bunch of creepy little kids eating people. So it's creepy.
Cool.
Nice.
So that's all I got.
Peter, what did you watch this week?
Usually I don't have a lot to add to this just because it's usually I've just watched the films that we're reviewing, but I've got 2 things to add that I watched this week.
Good Lord. So, and in other news, snow in hell.
So actually, this one was a thriller horror film that I watched.
Good Lord, you rewatched Cats?
Season.
I thought you said you would never watch Cats again.
Exactly. I made an oath, but I broke it.
Jeez.
No, I watched a Netflix original called I'm Thinking of Ending Things. It's a 2020 film.
Ooh, that sounds dark.
Jesse
Kaufman.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons is in it.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a film that not only did I enjoy the viewing of it and the conclusion of it, but after watching the conclusion of it, literally for a week, I was constantly thinking about the film, and I would text the people I watched it with remotely, and I said, but with the ending, what do these things mean? Like, there was about a dozen things that I would thought about, and I'm like, what do these 12 things mean now, knowing where the film ends up? And it's one of those films that I was just continually thinking about it afterwards, just about what it did as a film, but also the storyline. What was the significance of different aspects, different scenes, emphasis on lines, and things of that nature. So whether or not you think it was a good film, I think I liked it. I think I enjoyed it. But if nothing else, just the way that it captivated me, both when I watched it and for like literally a week following, it was definitely an interesting view.
Cool.
And then the only other thing that I watched, and it's also going to be a bit of a shout out, I'm going to give a shout out to Andrew Navialdi, friend of the show. He mentioned on a comment on a previous vote about the upcoming Enola Holmes film, which is also on Netflix. And I gave that a try. I didn't particularly enjoy the film. I think Henry Cavill is a great Sherlock. I'm typically a pretty big Millie Bobby Brown fan. Just something about the film just didn't quite land for me. And I'm not sure. There's a few dynamics that I talked about that maybe I just would have appreciated the film more if it had been from a different context or at a different point from the characters' interactions with each other. So just without getting into it too much, it wasn't as good as I was hoping. And of like all the Sherlock depictions that I enjoy, like with Benedict Cumberbatch and Robert Downey Jr., of all the Sherlock universe films and series, this is definitely probably my least favorite. But it was an interesting view, just probably not my favorite of that universe. So those are the two films I watched this week.
Cool.
How about you, Brady? What did you watch?
I watched 3 films in my continuation of... So last week I said that I had watched The Conjuring, and I had watched Annabelle.
Oh, yeah.
So this week I watched... what did I watch, man? I watched The Conjuring 2,
Yep.
Annabelle Creation, and The Nun. And my thoughts are... so last week I highly recommend the first Conjuring film.
Wow.
I was amazed at how much I enjoyed it, and it just felt like all around a great friggin' freaky experience. The Annabelle movie was a total snooze fest for me. It was awful. It was terrible. This time around,
stupid dolls.
Yeah, this time around, Conjuring 2, not as good as the first one. Still better by leaps and bounds than Annabelle. But what was really interesting about this is so the Conjuring 1 and Conjuring 2 sort of follow, they're horror films, but they're kind of almost also like detective mystery movies. Or like the Pierre, who's the dude from the character from Murder on the Orient Express, and the sequel that Kenneth Branagh plays, and there's a sequel coming out, Murder on the Nile. Anyways,
it's just
so there's so each film kind of presents like a paranormal, shitty situation, based on real life hauntings, and then Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were real life paranormal investigators, show up to help deal with it. They're sent in. They're representatives of the church. The Catholic Church will send them in, and they do everything that needs to be done in order to prove to the Catholic Church that something really awful here is going on, and get the Catholic Church to approve an exorcism. So anyways, they're really, really fascinating. And the second one, spoilers, the second one starts out, it holds no bearing on the rest of the story, but the second one starts out just as they're wrapping up the Amityville case. So that was really cool. It was just kind of like this nod to another massive franchise, another highly controversial yet real world haunting. And yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Annabelle creation, better than Annabelle by quite a bit. Still not as good as the first Conjuring. And then The Nun was creepy as shit. Something about nuns as it is really freaky, which is why I never watch The Sound of Music with the lights off. But yeah, it was super spooky.
Were the Warrens in that one?
The Warrens are yes. The Warrens show up in. Do they show up in The Nun? No, the Warrens show up in Annabelle Creation, just as like it flashes forward and it kind of shows you scenes. How the whole universe is kind of like becoming connected and ties into each other and stuff like that. But this coming week, I'm watching The Curse of La Llorona, and Annabelle La Llorona. Anyways, and Annabelle Comes Home. And Annabelle Comes Home, I'm pretty sure predominantly features the Warrens. And The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which is coming out next year, COVID provided, also features the Warrens. So I'm I'm enjoying their characters, and so I'm really looking forward to that. So
Patrick Stewart and Vera Farmiga, they're both amazing, right?
Oh, I love Patrick
Yes.
Stewart.
Yeah.
I
I love Patrick Stewart. Yeah.
I adore. Something we
You
forgot.
don't love Vera Farmiga?
Something. Well,
What is that? Giving
Sure.
all this love to Patrick Stewart and no love to Vera Farmiga.
something we forgot to
She's
mention.
also good, Jordan. You're right, Jordan.
Yeah.
She good. She good.
Something we forgot to mention that I'm feeling sinful about. Something we forgot to mention about The Nightmare on Elm Street.
Sure. Oh, I know where you're going with this.
What? Okay, who? What? What are you going to say?
Is it having to do with the teacher?
Yeah, Lynn Shay is in
Yeah.
this.
Yes, Lynn Shay. Yeah, I was going to say that,
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
like it's just she's so young.
A young,
Yeah.
very young.
And you know, in her own right, a horror icon. And so that was just, it's just fun to see her pop up there.
Yeah.
And I think the producer is Bob Shay. I wonder if that's her husband.
Ooh, maybe.
And Bob
Some
Shay
nepotism.
is the,
Some hanky panky
he's
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
he's the studio runner for New Line.
Oh, okay. Cool.
The studio that produced it. So.
All right. Well, stab this thing in its sleep, Peter.
All right. Well, again, we'd like to thank Jordan for joining us. It's been a blast. For those listening, thank you for listening. If you haven't done so already, please like, follow, subscribe on all their links below to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please rate and review us positively wherever you're listening to us. And if you're feeling so inclined, check out our Patreon and merchandise pages below, and you can help support the show, keep the lights on, help the show grow. And if you're not at that level of support, please just leaving us a like and a comment on the episode page, whatever streaming or whatever social media site you're on. We love the feedback.
Absolutely. And this is the last chance. If you're listening to this prior to, hang on, let me whip out my calendar here. Whip it out, man. If you're listening to this prior to, what? Who uses a calendar in friggin' week view? Okay, month view. If you're listening to this prior than October 20th, 2020, then there is still time to hop on our various social medias, and ask us a question for our 100th episode. Ask us anything thing that we're doing. So,
I got a question for you.
Literally, you can ask us anything. Like, ask us anything. Get weird about it, and we'll answer it anyways.
You should do an Ask Us Nothing episode.
Ask us nothing.
Just be a regular episode.
Or it's just an April Fool's thing, and it's literally 90 minutes of dead air. Yeah. But
It's just me. I'll take over.
Do a takeover. Yeah, podcast takeover. That'd be cool. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And as Pete said, it's been a blast. I think the more appropriate term is it's been a slash. Haha, get it? Get it?
Nice.
But in all seriousness, thank you for listening. And yeah,
Watch horror movies.
and watch horror movies. Get off
If
your.
you're not a horror movie fan, watch horror movies.
Give it
That
a
is
chance.
my plug.
Give it a chance.
Horror movies.
You know,
Yes.
Pete's given it a try, so you can as well. If it's good enough for
And
Pete,
Pete, watch all those. Watch the rest of those films that you suggested.
yeah, watch Pete.
That I suggest.
Pete, continue on with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay. All right.
It's the thing to do. Be a completist.
Yeah.
You know,
You're in my world. Isn't his voice awesome, Freddie?
it's amazing. It's so good.
You're in
Yeah.
my world.
That's
right,
impressive.
That's a.
Was it
That
good?
is.
That's
I'm a little
Alright.
scared.
right. Well,
Oh.
I was headed to bed now, but that won't be happening.
No.
I just have it playing in my head over and over, so at least that's not happening to you.
Cool.
I just watched it during this whole. I just watched it again during this whole recording, so. And I'm off to bed.
And I am not.